Hey everyone, welcome to another feature showcase. Today we're going to be talking about dynamic quote times. This is a great addition to our software that will let you display a more realistic estimate of the delivery times for your restaurants on the customer facing websites. Now, how does this work? There's a couple of moving parts and a couple of settings, so we're just going to go first and turn the dynamic quote times on. All you have to do is once you're in your admin backend, go to the settings tab. From here, you can navigate to management decisions or just type in dynamic, and you will see this field called quote time method. Now, this will change from static to dynamic. In this case, this is already done, and you will just hit save all settings. Now, I will show you what static quota times look like, and then I will show you an example of what dynamic quote times can look like, and then I will show you a couple of settings that you can adjust. So first, we see this test instance that has 20 minutes across the board. It is very vague. This can mean that, their food can be there in 50 minutes. It can be maybe 45 minutes. We don't know that because we're not taking any data. We're taking static prep times and we're quoting them just one number, right? So this can be anything that you set up in your admin backend under the location settings, and we will go over that setup as well. But now if we switch over to a site that has dynamic quote times turned on, they are set in range, and we are giving our customers a more realistic view of, hey, this is probably at the fastest going to take 29 minutes, at the latest 44 minutes. Now, can this number still be different by the time they actually get their food? Sure. But this gives your customers more confidence to order because they have a better understanding when their food is going to be there. Now, this number can be, for the dynamic quote times, it can still be one number or it can be a range. So I will show you how to set that up. So how does this work? This is going to take two different components and then combine it with estimated drive time that we take from Google Maps. Now, it's one or the other number for the first number, and whichever one is greater is what's going to be used for dynamic quote times. So the first number is going to be our prep time. So how long does it take for the restaurant to prepare the food? And then the second number is going to be how long does it take for the order to change the status from confirmed to arrived, meaning the driver marks it arrived. Now, this is all the data that we collect from the drivers to make sure that we have the most realistic time to quote the customer. Now, basically, it means like once the restaurant confirms. Once we confirm the order in the dispatch system, how long does it take to get that order status to change to arrived by the driver on average, right? So if that number is higher than the prep time, then we use that number. If the prep time is higher, we use that number. Then we add estimated drive time to that number, and that's how we get our dynamic quote times. Now, you can add a range and a buffer, as you can see here in this example, and I will show you how to do that. But before we do that, what we want to do is we want to put a safety net, meaning that if our averages are very low, so if our market is small, if we have a very quick turnaround of the orders, the dynamic quote time might say that the earliest the customer might get their food at 17 minutes. But we kind of want to avoid that so we don't give them unrealistic delivery times, because you still need to consider driver getting to the restaurant and the restaurant preparing the food. So in this case, we want to set up a safety net. So you will go to your location, you will navigate to delivery fees, then you will go to zone-based fees, and you will select the zone where all of your restaurants are in. Now from here, you can set up a safety net, meaning the breakfast delivery time, lunch delivery time, and dinner delivery time is going to be the lowest quoted number, basically. So in this case, we want to put like 20 minutes at the lowest end because you don't want to, as I said, give numbers that are too low, so it's not realistic for you to execute an order from beginning to end because there's so many variables in between that can bump this number up. So in this case, we'll put it at 20 minutes, and we will say that our delivery fees, like a baseline, right? If these fees kick in, are going to be $1.99 for breakfast, $2.99 for lunch and dinner, and then the minimum minimum order for breakfast, lunch, and dinner is $10. We'll just leave it at that. And then we will update all restaurants, make sure that that's in as a safety net. From here, as I said, there's a couple of things we want to do. So we have prep times. Now, granular prep times allow you to set the amount of time the restaurant needs to prepare the food on average, obviously, for all 15-minute increments, right? So it might seem like a lot of work, but all you have to do is put a baseline. So let's just say it's 20 minutes. On average, the restaurant needs 20 minutes to prepare their food. We'll put this at 20 minutes, and then we can just adjust like lunch and dinner rush, which usually makes it so the restaurants kind of take a little bit longer to prepare the food. So for lunch rush, we can say that they need 25 minutes. So at 11:30, we will change this number 20, right? Because our system is going to fill it out. We'll change it to 25. And then we're going to end it at like 2:30. We're going to put it back down to 20 minutes. And then it might pick up again at dinner time. We'll set it at 30 minutes because sometimes it takes a little bit longer during the dinner rush. And we will end this rush at 7:30, and we will put the prep time back to 20 minutes. And just like that, in basically 15 seconds, you have a much better baseline for your deliveries. Now, when you do that for Monday, you can just copy it to the rest of the week, or you can customize it and make it different for the weekend if you are delivering in an area that gets very busy during the weekend, and then simply hit save. From here, another thing that we can do is we can go to our dispatcher. And this is where you can set up the range where you can give them like two numbers. So we will go to settings on the top left. We'll go to restaurants and timing. And from here, we will select our location. And then we are able to add minutes or a buffer. So in this case, I set up a buffer of 15 minutes. And what this does, this is going to give the customer a time range, right? So it's going to be anywhere. So if we're quoting, let's say 30 minutes, right? Or let's say 35 minutes, the 15-minute buffer is going to give them a lower end and a higher end number that's going to give them a range that's 15 minutes. Okay. So from there, that is going to give them a range, and then we are going to be able to add minutes on top of that. So how does this work? Once we have a dynamic quote time number, right, whatever it is, it can be, 20 to 45 minutes, right, is what we're quoting the customer. Now, if that's the case, we can add minutes on top of that regardless of what that first number is, right? So if it's, I don't know, let's say it is 25 to 35 minutes for delivery. If we add 5 minutes, it will add on top of it. So it will say from 30 to 40 minutes, right? And this is a good practice to have just in case maybe you have a very heavy seasonal traffic. You want to add some time so the drivers can execute these orders. But that is totally up to you. So you can also reset this setting daily, and this is something that you would have to do on your own. And then you can also make the buffer, meaning the time range, either higher or lower, depending however you want to do it, in 5-minute increments. Now, don't worry about the left-hand side of this screen, because this is just temporary closing a location for 30 or 60 minutes because maybe they're too busy and they can't process orders at this time. If you have any questions about this feature, please let us know. Make sure you check out the article where you have all this stuff written out so you can kind of understand this feature better. And we will see you in the next video. Have a wonderful day. Bye.